Scott, a member of the Seattle Swim Club, was elected on Saturday when the association held their elections at the National Aquatic Center, Liniandal. He was unopposed as the incumbent. Brian Goodrich opted not to vie for re-election. The new president said he wants to ensure there is harmony so they can make good use of the wealth of knowledge within the fraternity.
The biggest issue that we face is the absence of collaboration. I suspect that if we tend to run it as a one-man show or a one-group show, you will always have that element in place. The important thing for me is that we have a wealth of knowledge for the fraternity. We have people who have been in the industry like Nicholas Fraser, Miss Stephanie Fraser, Miss Dr. Karen Pilgrim. These are all learned minds in the sport. I think their absence from the sport in itself do some level of disharmony and some level of harm. And so the objective is not only to get them involved, but to have all the other members and clubs involved in what our activities and plannings would be. I believe the disharmony comes in the absence of that element of leadership.
With sport being allowed to resume under condition approval is granted by the Minister of Health, and more so strict guidelines are followed, Scott said his immediate plan is to get the pool functioning and place a primary focus on the Olympic hopefuls.
My short-term plans as it lies, first it has to do with getting the facility back in operation. Currently the facility is out of commission because we do not have the prerequisite chemicals to have it up and running. So my first approach will be getting that aspect addressed, and then we need to focus on getting the youths back into the pool. We have received some guidelines from FINA, and so we're working to implement those guidelines to make sure that we can get our youths back into the pool safely, taking into consideration the COVID-19. And then more importantly, to some extent, we have a few athletes who are vying for the Olympics next year, and so we will be working with the coaches to ensure that these athletes can be adequately prepared and they make the prerequisite times to be at the Olympics next year.
The only contested position was for Vice President of Technical Management, in which Randolph dos Santos defeated Shifet Dz 11 votes to 7. Elkie Rodriguez returned as Vice President of Administration, likewise Yelma Phillips returned as Secretary, and Valkamik Singh as Treasurer. According to Scott, the post of Assistant Secretary Treasurer, which was not filled due to no nominations, will be done by the executive when they convene for their first meeting. President of the Guyana Olympic Association, K.A. Human Yasin, who was a returning officer, indicated in Newsroom Sport on Monday all 6 clubs under GASA were represented and there were no objections regarding the elections. For the newsroom, Akim Green.